Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the Capcom vs Konami series. This is the Chilean Retro Gamer, and today I'm playing Street Fighter 2 for the Game Boy. Why am I playing this version? Because I'm pretty sure many people just didn't know about this particular version, or completely ignored it, or found it a piece of shit. Yeah, I kind of find it a piece of shit, I am aware. And they feature 9 out of the 12 characters, I think, from the original title. Of course, they didn't include the ones from Super Street Fighter 2. Well, this was surprisingly released in '95, kind of late. I mean late, taking into account this came out in '91. It runs at 5 FPS, as you can tell, so yeah, it's not the prototype of a good fighting game. Well, what do you expect anyway from a portable system? They were usually shit games. But it doesn't play that bad. I mean, at least the techniques work. As you can see right there, I can do the Hadouken, the Shoryuken, and the other move. The kick one, I always forget the name of it. Tatsu something something. I can do those moves without a problem. This is totally not Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the Game Boy Advance, first of all. But I actually find some cool features here. For example, the music is actually great. It's a great adaptation of the original music in 8-bit. Probably you can hear some of the music in the background, of course. My commentary is interrupting it. But you can look it up on YouTube or play this game yourselves, this version. Must be on the internet somewhere. It's actually very well adapted, the original themes on 8-bit. Which makes it at least, I don't know, enjoyable to listen to, not annoying. And I insist, of course, characters move like shit, but at least things work. I would really consider this is, at least so far, the only fighting game for the Game Boy that I actually found accurate, apart from Killer Instinct, which was, well, still kind of shit. You cannot ask for more anyway, for Game Boy. But I kind of like how it played, and Mortal Kombat 2, absolutely. Those were the best. Mirror match already. Yeah, I like this Super Game Boy feature thing, you know, changing the border according to the level you are playing. So yeah, the music gives you a lot of Mega Man feelings for some reason. And he got stunned, of course. I was kicking his ass. Well, I can't say many more things about this game, so you know how Street Fighter works. The 1,363 versions of this game that are around on different consoles and systems, including the Game Boy, the NES party games, the Super Nintendo, the TurboGrafx, the Sega Genesis. I guess the Game Gear is also part of those millions of ports and such. Game Boy Advance, and the remakes for the newer consoles, you know. But yeah, I insist, they released this one in '95. That was actually later than Super Street Fighter 2, for example. Probably they hesitated for a while to get this one released, because they could have done it before, or probably there was no enough technology for you to play or to make a fighting game, at least a good fighting game, on a Game Boy. They could have waited a bit longer, who knows. Actually, the Game Boy Advance remake for this, I always forget the name because there are so many fucking names for Street Fighter remixes. Or remakes, rather. What was the name of it? Like Survival something something? That was actually a good port of Street Fighter 2. Well, let's consider that the Game Boy Advance actually supported better FPS. Yeah, I am saying that, but remember Mortal Kombat Advance. That was such a piece of shit. The biggest one. Try to remember other fighting games that were good on portable systems. Well, I am remembering, for example, the Capcom vs SNK game for the Neo Geo Pocket, in which they used like mini characters, something similar to Pocket Fighter, but adapted to that console, that portable console. I could do a review on it. I remember I played a Capcom vs SNK game for Neo Geo Pocket, and also the King of Fighters game. They used mini characters because probably the screen wasn't big enough. Blanca was easy, I guess. Do I have to fight all of the characters? Well, let's go for Guile. So yeah, they definitely changed the border according to the stage. And yeah, Guile thing that goes with everything, good internet joke, in 8-bit. Can you believe it? This must be like the only game that actually featured the Street Fighter themes in 8-bit. Because it must be the only Street Fighter game, the official Street Fighter game rather, in 8-bit, right? Because I remember those pirate versions for the NES. I don't think there was an original release of Street Fighter game at all on the NES. I thought there was one when I was a kid, but then I realized there were pirate versions. So yeah, I'm playing as Ryu, of course, generic catcher. You know how competitive gaming people usually say that, or competitive gamers say that the ones who play as Ryu and Ken are faggots and not real gamers, they should kill themselves. Yeah, well, you know, I don't play competitively, I find it stupid. I play for fun, not for competition. So that's why I find online gameplay stupid, even before lots of dislikes and hates. Again. Chun-Li. It's like the 5th character I'm fighting. I lost the count, but I guess this shouldn't take more than a single video, since I'm winning really fast. Well, in general, fighting games shouldn't take so long, in general. 1 or 2 parts, at most. Well, I'm playing on kind of an easy difficulty. I was checking out the options at the beginning. If you saw, it said the default level is level 2. I guess there are 2 out of 8, or probably 2 out of 4. Hit detection is good. I mean, the only main problem with this game, which could have made it better, or at least enjoyable, taking into account this is an 8-bit Street Fighter 2 game, is the frame rate. It's running like a 10. If they would have improved it, you know, and make it 30, not 60 of course, I'm not gonna demand for much more, but at least, I don't know, 25 or 30 FPS, and make the, you know, how the characters move, jump, and kick and punch more smooth, and it wouldn't be a better game even. Perfect. Well, seems like I was having some trouble in the first fights, and then I was getting used to the controls. I'm doing better. So how many more characters? I still have to fight Ken. I already fought Guile in the States. In America, another good theme adapted to 8-bit. Something you probably never heard before, unless it was a, you know, homemade remake. That's why this title actually got some magic, in the sense that, yeah, you can hear these themes in an official game in actual 8-bit, and play it in 8-bit with 8-bit graphics and all that. The value of an official title with those characteristics, that's the main issue here. I mean, not an issue, the main characteristic, if you will. Well, taking into account this is a rather short playthrough and, you know, quite easy in general terms, I'm not gonna lie. It could become difficult in later fights, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, taking that into account, I could end up doing another game after this, probably an arcade one. You know, I want to be switching between the Capcom vs Konami series. Remember the Capcom vs Konami series? Well, taking into account we are playing a game that everyone saw, I'm already commented on the main features on this. I want to change the topic and talk about the Capcom vs Konami series in general. I have to fight again in USA? Yeah, I have to fight Balrog. Then Sagat, and I suppose later, at the end, Bison. So yeah, the Capcom vs Konami series, as well as the Nintendo vs Sega series, are not really confrontations or comparisons, direct comparisons between games of each company. It's basically just an excuse for me to play not levels, but games from both companies. But of course, playing according to the console or system. If you remember, I played pretty much all of Capcom and Konami games for the arcade first, and then I moved to Game Boy, and then I'll be eventually moving to NES, Super Nintendo, Sega, and so on. So basically just want to feature the main titles per system of both companies. In this case, Capcom and Konami on the one hand, and Nintendo and Sega on the other hand. I'm still doing arcade games for Nintendo vs Sega, then I'll be moving to their respective portable consoles. And the game is fucking up, as you can tell. I don't know why this is going on. I actually tried resetting the game and tried again. I took my time to do that. I never made a save state or anything weird for me to cause this. It's probably bad emulation, that's all. I'm using Virtual Boy Advance in case you are wondering what emulator I'm using. And I think this is just gonna stay for this battle, I really hope so. Or else I'll kill myself. It seems it stopped. No, it didn't stop right now. At least I finished the battle, but that was quite weird. Must have been an emulation problem. So yeah, time to fight Sagat, and I guess this is not the last boss. I think I saw Bison, I'm not even sure anymore. So yeah, as I was trying to say, after this I will be moving to the Nintendo vs Sega series and play an arcade game for it. I'm actually moving quite fast throughout time playing Sega games from the 90s. I'll be eventually, sooner than later I could say, of course within this year, I could say in 1 or 2 more months at most, I'll be moving to the Sega Model 2 games. You know, Sega Model 2 are basically Sega arcade games featured in full 3D. For example, Daytona USA, Dynamite Cop, Virtua Cop, to mention just a few. So I'll be playing a few, not all of them, but a few of those games. Not necessarily playthroughs of them, unless I can do short gameplay videos with commentary, reviewing those games, and because the emulator is not stable, and to record it is a little bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. So yeah, I will be playing some of those games, feature them, do a review, show them for the first time in case you want to download them and play them yourselves. Then I'm gonna do some Nintendo games for the arcade. There were very few compared to Sega, of course, but there are a few that are worth taking them a look. Yeah, Street Fighter actually doesn't make you talk much about the game itself. Where I insist, I already did. Right now I'm talking to you about projects and other things. So let's do Bison. That sounded dirty, I know. Yeah, Hadouken abuse, that's lame, that's gay, that's fucking stupid, I know. Wow, even with 5 FPS I couldn't predict the Psycho Crusher, and I couldn't avoid it. I think even if you try to block it, you still get hurt by it, right? I completely remember. There wasn't a difficulty boost. Well, I was playing on 2. I didn't check out if there are more than I mean, 2 is the default difficulty. I am repeating it in case you didn't have it clear. There must be 4 difficulties and not 8 like the original game. I don't think a Game Boy game would support so many differences in difficulty. But I didn't feel like playing on the easiest one, because I had the feeling that the game would be this low and it would be easy to play through. And he's dead. What about the crowd in the backgrounds? I don't think I saw any people in the background of any of the levels. Well, you can see them in the border. I guess that counts. And there is no ending. Well, what do you expect anyway? I probably played on an easy difficulty, but it's not mentioning any of that. I'm gonna put a good name, very repetitive. I could have put fag or fuck with a K instead of a CK thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little playthrough, just for the lulz if you will. So yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.